This episode is brought to you by Harry Potter and the Racist Uncle, now on Broadway. You're listening to Questionable Material. Your hosts, Brian Sack, and the other one, Jack Helmet. Jack, that was a great intro.
Yeah, thank you. It took it took about 3 weeks to put together.
3 weeks to put that together?
Mm-hmm. All the boys at ILM and which is weird for a podcast with no sights, no visuals at all.
You really went all out. How much did that cost us?
$1.2 million.
Wow. See, that's a problem, Jack, because we don't have the sponsors to
but we will.
That's right. I know, but you keep saying that it's like saying we're going to win scratch tickets.
Your negative Nellyism is really bringing this podcast down.
Trying to be practical, Jack. You just keep saying, oh, the money's going to come rolling in.
Yeah, but the quality of that intro, I think, sort of shines through and is worth the money.
Okay, well.
I mean, did you see the monkey transform into a robot?
No, see, that's the problem. This is a podcast, Jack. There's nothing visual. And you put a lot of money into visual effects for a podcast, which to me, as a film major, makes no sense.
But it looked good. What don't you get about this?
But that's the thing. It's a podcast, Jack. You're obsessed with visuals and you really need to focus on the audio.
Okay. Look, let's offline this. Okay. We don't need to drag our listeners down into this.
Let's not get ugly.
What I'm excited about is that we're the last two guys in America without a podcast.
I know.
So I'm really excited that we've thrown our hat to the ring.
We got onto the bandwagon.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why do they call it a bandwagon?
I don't know that.
That's something I want to look up.
Okay. I can look
You
that up.
You don't have to do it right now.
Nope.
Time is passing. Time is passing. Jack is looking. I'll buy time while you look it up.
Okay. So, stall while I look up bandwagon.
Bandwagon, the mean etymology of bandwagon. So I would guess that a bandwagon was a wagon that medieval bands used to be towed around on.
Okay. The word bandwagon is the rather unimaginative name for a wagon that carried a circus band. It first appeared in print in the equally unimaginatively titled book, The Life of P.T. Barnum, written by himself, which is published in 1855.
Okay, so I was off by the medieval thing, but there's actually a wagon with a band pulled on it?
Apparently.
So that was a good guess on my part. I'm going to pat myself on the back.
That was really good because you're trying to do like a little bit, and it turned out correct.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's interesting. A bandwagon. And P.T. Barnum is responsible for it.
Wow. I guess so.
Okay. I'll take it.
There's some bonus facts here. Nothing that interesting. It takes a lot of reading and I'm slow. I only got the one working eye. Originally a large wagon used to carry the band in a circus procession, as these also figured in celebrations of successful political campaigns. Being on the bandwagon came to represent attaching oneself to anything that looks likely to succeed, a usage first attested 1899 in writings of Theodore Roosevelt.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. That's kind of interesting. We learned a thing.
We learned a thing today.
TIL. Today I learned.
Today I learned. That was really neat.
They say that on Reddit.
Do they?
Yeah. I have a question.
Yes.
You have two kids.
I do.
Do you love them both equally?
It's funny. When you have two kids, have you, in all seriousness, have you been asked that by people? Because I am oddly asked that a lot. Do you get asked that?
No.
You've never been asked, do you love one of your kids more than the other?
I think it's very clear I love both my kids equally. So apparently you're doing something really weird.
I've been asked that a few times by people, not just my kids who I want to know which one they love the most. But so I've been asked enough times by that and about that. Like, wow, which of your kids do you love better? And it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy to me that someone would ask that question.
Yeah, it's a crazy question to ask.
It's a crazy question. And do you know what? So every time do you know what I tell people?
The boy?
Yeah, of course. He can inherit my land. I mean, of course I love him. Yeah. I mean, my son.
He has all the rights. I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's
the number one station in Saudi Arabia. Jack and Brian FM.
What are your ages? Your kids, your boys, quote unquote boys.
15 and Klubend.
Okay, those aren't numbers. For American listeners.
25th, 15 and 12.
Okay. So that's an interesting age. So we have some puberty going on.
We do. My son, Waze, the traffic app.
Of course I do.
So
I have all my money in Waze.
Do you? Oh,
yeah.
Good. That's Google bought it for $1 billion.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Waze lets you record your own directions if you want, because you can have all these programmed voices like turn left now.
Yep.
And you can do like Arnold Schwarzenegger, all that stuff, but you can also record your own. And so my oldest son, when he was going through puberty and his voice was breaking up, he recorded it. And I can't change it now because it's too hilarious. Because it's like, turn left, turn right, police ahead.
Wait, so Yoda gives you your instructions?
Yeah. My son is Yoda. But it's too hilarious to me. So yeah, he recorded the Waze directions when he was going through puberty.
And you can't, and you just can't bring yourself to change it.
I could never change it.
I could never change it.
It's too funny.
Can you throw your stuff? Can you throw things that your kids have drawn or made out? Can you throw stuff out? Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Because you look at it like, oh, I vaguely remember him scribbling on this thing, and how can I throw that away? But now I have boxes and boxes of just crap. And I know at some point, they probably don't even care.
Right.
And they just toss it out.
Isn't this the reason why you won't divorce your wife? Because they came from her. And so you just can't throw her out.
Yeah. She helped so much.
That's
she really was helpful in having children.
Yeah.
I tried to do it my own way and go alone, but I just kind of needed her. She had a womb. She was willing to lay with me, as they say, and make the babies. And so, I kind of owe her, I feel.
Sure. God, it's romance alive in 2019.
It sure is.
That's really, but you're totally over her, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. I've been, I don't know if you see my Google search history, it's very incriminating.
Your Gergle search?
It's a Google ripoff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's where you put all your money, right? It's in Gergle.
Well, it's the only affordable stock. Google's way too expensive, but Gergle is actually pretty affordable.
And they've never had a search result come up.
Right. They're still working on it. It's one guy. Google has a whole army of people to look stuff up for you. And Gergle is just his one, it's a one-man show. So I understand. So
his heart's in it.
12 weeks ago, I researched nail salons near me. And he said, give me a couple of weeks. I'll get back to you.
Okay. Well, good for you. Good for it. You got to support the little guy.
Yeah.
No one wants to go to Barnes and Noble. They want to go to
shop local.
You want to go to Gergle.
Yeah. I do local search engines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. So, Brian.
Yes.
Are you a fan of the show Shark Tank?
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
Oh, just Shark Tank?
Yeah, no, the English version.
Oh, the Italian one I was watching, Shark Tank. Yeah, Shark Tank I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a good show, right?
Yeah.
And not a lot of people know this about you, but you're one of the most ferocious and broad-reaching entrepreneurs I've ever met. You have so many businesses and products and stuff going on. I
have a lot of irons in the file, as they say.
Where do they say that?
On the show.
Okay. On Shark Tank?
Shark Tank.
Okay.
It's an Italian expression. Here we say irons in the fire.
Oh, okay. See, this is what's so cool about doing a podcast with someone so educated.
Yeah.
So,
educated is the proper pronunciation.
See, these are things I don't know. So I was wondering if as a way to sort of introduce some of your products and services to the world, some of your businesses that you yourself own.
Yes.
I was wondering if you could pitch them. I'm going to name some of the businesses that you own.
Sure.
And if you could just tell me the Shark Tank pitch for them.
Shall I assume I've never heard these businesses I own before?
I mean, you could, but you definitely own them. I mean, because you own
businesses I own
that you own. I was wondering if you could pitch them.
And I'm hearing about for the first time. Yeah, sure.
I mean, this is I'm not going to tell you your business structure.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So I was wondering, could you give me the Shark Tank pitch for Shower Monkey? What is that? Okay. So go ahead. What is Shower Monkey?
Shower Monkey. The Shower Monkey?
Yeah.
Well, sure. The Shower Monkey. So, when you are taking a shower and you're in there and, you only have two hands.
Yeah.
And, one's going to get the bottle of, say shampoo. And the other hand, you can open the bottle of shampoo, pour it in your hands, and then you put it on your head.
Yep.
But there's no one there to stroke your genitals. Right? So that's where Shower Monkey comes in. Shower monkey. Am I losing you?
I'm sorry. I choked on a walnut. I'm sorry.
So the shower monkey, it's a rubber contraption. It's not a real monkey, of course, because that would be illegal. But it kind of loops around your wrist as a Velcro attachment. And it runs down the length of your leg and then kind of turns back up. And you know what a mop head looks like?
Boy,
It's kind of like that, but it's silicone. And of course, it's kind of connected to your arm. So as you're rubbing the shampoo in your head, the shower monkey, the silicone,
pleasuring you.
is pleasuring you as you would like in a shower. As it was pretty much anybody that adds to the showering experience. So you get the cleanliness and the pleasure of taking a shower. And so that's the shower monkey.
Okay. Do you want to Shark Tank that and say like, I'd like a certain amount of investment for a certain percentage of your company?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm willing, I will give you 30% of the company in return for $850,000 in capital to get this project off the ground.
Okay. And so that gives you an evaluation of you think the shower monkey business is about a $2.5 million business already. Yeah. That's what that valuation says to me.
Yes. I think it's a bigger business than that. The only problem is it's really hard to get people to admit that they want a shower monkey. And so it's one of those things when you say,
I want one, Jesus.
When you tell them, but most people, you're different. Most people don't admit to wanting that whole kind of combination of genital massage and shampoo.
Huh. Okay. Huh.
Shower monkey.
And how do you, how are you planning to launch it? Is it retail? Is it online? Like how are you going to sell the shower monkey?
We know most people would not want to buy it like physically in person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be in a box that says deluxe mop. And so.
And you just surprise them.
Well, some older people, yes, who might not know, but I think what we're going to do is get the word out that you want the deluxe mop, wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
And just
that seems risky.
People go to Bed Bath & Beyond and just get the deluxe mop and nobody will be any the wiser.
There are definitely going to be people who are looking, they're going to be janitors. They're going to be all sorts of people who are going to buy that deluxe mop and get a real heck of a surprise.
Yeah. And a much better shower.
It really will be better. And, what are you going to use the $2.5 million for? That would be the other question a Shark Tank shark would ask.
I would love to own a sailboat because it's the best way, if you want to be green,
mm-hmm.
but you also want to flee from investors, you want a sailboat because there's no better way to get away from the mainland
mm-hmm.
than on the ocean in a boat that's powered by the wind and by nature.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also quiet and doesn't have an engine that you could actually follow with a submarine.
Here's one. It seems useful, just sort of weirdly named. Can you give me the Shark Tank pitch for your product, Arab Spring soap?
Arab Spring soap?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Arab Spring happened at the time. And I thought, look at all these people. They just want to get clean. Mm-hmm. They're living in the little desert communities. They're always sweaty and hot. And so I wanted a soap that would make you clean before you're pulled out of a sewer hole and beaten to death by a mob.
Okay.
I was thinking, I really had the best interests of dictators in mind.
Uh-huh.
A lot of these guys, they're busy dictating, oppressing. They get sweaty, they get hot,
mm-hmm.
And then when their governments collapse, they're crawling into sewer pipes, hiding in fear of
mm-hmm.
the people that they've held under their foot for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this was a great way for someone to be nice and clean in time to be murdered by a mob.
Best of luck with that. Here's another product. It's funny. I don't even know what this product is. Most of these other products I've sort of known. But box of cats.
Box of cats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's obviously there's been a huge problem with cat shelters being overrun.
Yeah, I know. Sure.
So I came up with the idea for box of cats.
Mm-hmm.
and it's fairly random because, a lot of times they pick cats for various reasons and a lot of cats get left out. And we thought, what if we put 8 in a box and shipped it to you UPS ground? Okay. You don't know what you're getting. Some people are going to get no cats. Some people are going to get 8 very angry cats. Some people are going to get a mix of no cats and angry cats. But at the end of the day, it's kind of what fate delivers. And that's actually the tagline is box of cats, what fate delivers.
That's really nice.
Yeah. And so it's a way of cleaning out these shelters because I don't believe in these kill shelters.
No, I know they're very inhumane.
But I also know that it's very expensive. So why not put 8 cats in a box?
Just see what happens. Yeah. They're in God's hands now.
Sure. A lot of them.
Yeah. What's customer feedback been so far on Box of Cats?
We haven't checked the voicemail messages because I get the feeling a lot of people haven't gotten used to the business model yet. I want to give it some time and maybe they'll sort things out.
Okay.
Have not had a lot of repeat customers. That's probably one of the biggest obstacles.
Well, presumably they have some of their cats now.
Sometimes. So it just kind of depends. So I am kind of stealing myself to actually check the voicemail messages.
Okay. Well,
when we get a chance. We have 847.
Wow. What, just a few more questions about Box of Cats. Do they ship with any sort of food or litter or anything?
No. And that's part of the charm.
The charm.
Yeah. Because, we don't, if you give them food, you give them water and stuff, you're kind of creating an environment inside the box where they might fight over it.
Oh, that's nice.
Where like one guy gets all the food, all the water, and the other guy doesn't. This way, it's kind of equality. Everybody's kind of the same. Almost like a socialistic model.
Okay. And no cat litter, no way for them to relieve themselves.
No, they can.
Oh, they can.
Sure.
How do they do that?
In the box.
Okay. So UPS ground, which sometimes can take a little while.
Yeah.
So you probably are opening up the box and getting quite a surprise.
No, well, originally, yes, we did. But then we learned from our mistakes and we stopped feeding them 3 days before shipping.
Oh, man, I just don't have a mind for business like you.
Yeah. Nothing goes in, nothing comes out. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm really impressed with you, Brian. I think that's all we've got for your business. I would like to, I know you've got a lot more. I'd like to revisit this some point in the future.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
That's really great. Thanks for sharing with us.
Thanks for having me.
Again, it's your show. You're here all the time.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, yeah, Brian.
Got news that fell through the cracks this week.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah. So as you know, President Trump dominates the news cycles.
Boy, does he.
And we miss a lot of news. A lot of stuff falls through the cracks.
Because we're just talking about nothing but Trump.
Trump.
Yep.
So this is stuff that fell through the cracks this week.
Okay.
Doctors from a university in upstate New York have put out a paper claiming that obesity, once thought to be a result of poor dietary choices, is actually caused by tiny invisible gypsies.
Really?
Yes. Now, Dr. Ryan Garfunkel is an overweightologist at the Cornell University Biggies Lab. And Garfunkel said that he has evidence that tiny invisible gypsies sneak into our houses at night when we're sleeping and fill our bellies with a highly caloric ghost foods. Now, he said it's uncertain why these invisible little gypsies do this or how ghost foods pack so many calories. But one thing is more than certain, and that's being morbidly obese is nobody's fault but those mean little gypsies.
Huh. And that's at the Biggies Lab?
That is the Cornell University Biggies Lab.
Huh.
And that's where Dr. Ryan Garfunkel, an overweightologist.
Oh, that's an overweightologist. Yes. Huh. I mean, that doesn't seem, I'll tell you, from the science that I have read, that doesn't seem accurate.
Well, you're wrong.
Where is that published?
It doesn't say. It said he put out a paper.
Okay. Well, you know what? Heck with it. I believe him.
A definitive study has finally proven that wine is good for your health. You know how they go back and forth all the time?
Every few weeks.
It's over. We know now.
Oh, it's great.
It is good for your health. So a 12-year study commissioned by the Ernest and Julio Gallo Center of Science found that drinking 1 to 2 quarts of wine a day enriches the blood, neutralizes all the bad things, and makes you feel good all over. So Dr. David Gallo, who's one of the chief researchers at the Institute, said, quote, all wines are delicious and healthy, especially the cheaper, sweeter ones that come in jugs, end quote. He also said to check your Sunday supplement for a 2-for-1 coupon.
Hey, man. Science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack, more stories, more news that slipped through the cracks.
So you found another one.
I did.
Please tell us.
Okay. A jury of playground mommies found Jared Cale of Paducah, Kentucky, guilty of attempted murder for deliberately brandishing a peanut near their beloved children.
Oh.
Now, it took the jury less than a minute of deliberation to hand down the verdict. Cale claimed he had no idea a peanut was so incredibly deadly and that he had only wanted to eat a peanut, not kill their children. Judge Karen Hoffman told Cale that a tornado could have whipped the peanut from his fingers and deposited it into the mouth of a child who might have had a rare lethal peanut allergy. That's all the news I wrote.
Wait, what?
That's all the news I have.
Go back. Say again.
That's all the news I have.
Okay.
All the news I could find that fell through the cracks.
Good job, Brian.
Thank you.
You were really good at finding these things.
Yeah, well, it's out there. You just have to know where to look.
I guess you have to look, right?
And you have to not be distracted by this constant 24/7 Trump news cycle.
Yeah.
So much stuff gets by us.
It really does. Hey, Brian.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Brian. This is my favorite part of the show when we get to interview people where we've done enough talking, just you and me.
Yeah. Boring.
No,
it's nice to talk to people, get other points of view.
It really is.
Yes,
and different areas of expertise.
Absolutely.
That's why we've had, in our short time, some political people. We've had all sorts of people who we've been able to talk to so far. And today we have a great one. We have Dr. Jerry Fullwood, who's a childhood developmental expert.
Okay.
And as parents,
Yep.
I think this is a great person to have to be able to ask just developmental questions about our kids. I'm sure you have questions.
I tons of questions.
Our kids are of different ages. You know, our kids span from 15 to 6 years old. I mean, that's a fantastic range. So why don't we bring Dr. Fullwood out right now and let's pepper him with some questions.
I hate to do this to you.
What?
I have to go to a bris.
You have to go to a bris now?
Yeah. I have to go to a bris.
Whose bris is it?
Mine.
I'm sorry?
I'm super nervous.
I bet you are.
Yeah, I've been putting this off for a long time and I need to do it. I'm sorry.
I bet you've been putting it off for a really long time.
Yeah, and for those who don't know what a bris is, you want to fill them in?
It's probably better. I mean, you're the one who's getting it.
It's a circumcision ceremony. Usually you have it when you're a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I put it off. And
I would.
Tonight's the night I had to deal with
tonight. Tonight you booked it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited for the interview to be done. I'm sorry.
You should have. I agreed with that, but also I just want to dig a little deeper on this for just 1 second. Why do it at all?
You just have to because they did it 2,000 years ago. So I feel like it's something you should do now.
Okay. I mean, there are plenty of people who don't, just so you know.
Yeah, but they did it back then for reasons. And I just don't, I'm not even sure what those reasons are, but I feel like it's a thing I should just do.
Yeah, 2,000 years ago, they could have been like a bad storm that wiped out all the crops. And they blame it on the kid with the weird penis.
It's totally possible, but maybe, that's me. I don't know.
So foreskin has killed all our livestock.
Get rid of it. I'm so sorry, but don't eat pork, please. Okay. All right. So I need to go.
It's unprofessional and strange, but whatever, bro.
I know it's not. I know it's a little unprofessional, but it's only strange if you think that it's 2,000 years from when they first had this idea. But I need to go. I'm super nervous. I don't know what to expect. I mean, I kind of do, and I'm just worried it's going to be a little painful. Anyway. Good luck with the interview, and I'm so sorry to say hello to Dr. Fullwood, or what's his name?
Dr. Fullwood, yeah.
Dr. Fullwood.
And say goodbye to your foreskin. Will do. Oh man, I can see in your face you're really nervous.
I'm terrified. Man. Yeah, I'm really nervous.
How does your wife feel about this?
She prefers uncut men.
So what are you doing?
It's tradition, dude.
Hey man, you can't argue with that logic.
All right, I gotta go.
All right, be good, pal. Bye-bye. Good luck, and thanks for leaving me with this.
Sorry. Just ask questions.
Okay. Always good advice. Thanks, Brian. And he's gone. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm really excited to welcome our first and only guest of this episode to the show, a childhood developmental expert. I'm not actually sure where he works, but we'll find that out. Dr. Jerry Fullwood. Jerry, so nice to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you for having me.
So, Dr. Fullwood.
Yes, Jack.
So you're a childhood developmental expert.
I am, Jack.
Why did you choose to get into that field?
Well, Jack, when I grew up in a family of 15 children, I was the youngest of the 15. I was exposed to a lot of children, and I learned a lot of things along the way. And it kind of drove me to want to help other people raise children.
What was life like for you in a home with 15 children?
Obviously, you can imagine it was chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty much an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the movie Home Alone?
I did.
That was kind of based on my life story.
Is that true?
Yes, but we weren't very wealthy. So instead of flying to Europe, they just went down the street, but forgot to bring me to Shoney's.
That's sad.
Yes.
So what? Okay. And why did your parents have so many kids?
Well, two reasons. One, they really wanted a large family.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they were Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And three, my father kept purchasing condoms at the perforated condom store. He was not educated. He only had
He thought it was like the perfect condom store.
Yeah, he was not a reader. He only had a secondary school education and really didn't understand what the word perforated meant.
I can't.
See, I said mean.
Yeah, your father taught you how to read.
That's the problem.
I can't imagine a store like that would do well with a perforated condom. It probably tore up the first few seconds of use.
I wasn't there, so I couldn't. I don't know.
Well, I
only have the videos to go by.
Oh God. I'm glad your father. So that's like 16 millimeter.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Back in the day,
there are no iPhones. There are no.
He had a keen interest in documentary.
Okay,
and so he would film all of his children being conceived, and then on our 15th birthday, he would show us the films, as kind of a way to show us how we were brought into the world. So it was a mixed bag of emotions for me, and one, it was kind of fascinating to see me being created. But it also was kind of horrifying to see my mother's O face.
Well, hey, that means she owed. That's fantastic. Good for your dad. So what was it like watching that video? Anything stand out from it?
Just my father.
He stood out in it.
Yeah, clearly.
Whew.
It was a spectacle, Jack. I'll tell you, it was something I don't wish to witness again.
But have you ever witnessed it again?
For reasons unbeknownst to me, I digitized it and posted it to several websites. So it keeps popping up in my feed.
Okay. I mean, that's a curious decision, but clearly you've had some scarring issues in your life. Any other, before we get into your work,
sure, I'd love to
really need to get into your work. I'm just really interested about this 15 children thing.
Right.
I'm sure you're asked this all the time. Do you know the names of your brothers and sisters? Can you name all 14 of your siblings?
Of course I can.
Okay. Well, would you mind doing the point of me saying that is to actually do it now?
Sure, absolutely. There's Archibald, Brittany, Charles, Daphne, Echo, Frederick, German.
Oh, that's weird.
Hotel, which is where he was conceived. Ivan, Jack.
Oh,
ironically.
Yeah.
Kiko.
Kiko?
She's Japanese. Louis. Mike,
Mm-hmm.
Newman,
Mm-hmm.
and Oliphant.
Oliphant. But your name is Dr. Jerry Fullwood. And you're the 15th and last kid.
Oliphant Jerry Fullwood.
Oh, so you just dropped the Oliphant.
Yeah, Oliphant is such a strange name.
That is really strange.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you know this. They went in alphabetical order. Your folks did.
You're kidding.
Naming the kids. If
I
you
never
look at that pattern.
I never thought of that before.
Well, if you could read, if you knew what an alphabet was.
I'm a doctor. I had never thought of that before. You're absolutely right. It is alphabetical.
It really is.
Good for them.
Yeah, right. Good for your dad.
Yeah.
So tell me. So as you bring up, as apparently you like to bring up, you're a doctor. You throw that around a lot.
I'm a doctor.
So
I have a doctorate.
Tell us about your work with childhood development, because my co-host Brian and I we each have 2 kids. My 2 kids are 8 and 6. I would love to know what are some tips and tricks to deal with kids at that age, because I find that to be a very specific age with some very specific
Absolutely.
needs.
These are great years. 6 and 8, wonderful years. The kids are very energetic. Are they okay?
My son is very energetic. He's got a huge appetite. He's always bouncing around. Big energy.
So what we do in that case, we'd give him a pill to stop him from bouncing around. And we give him a pill to curb his appetite, his urges to eat, and to make him fall into more compliance, to be more sedentary and less hungry.
Okay, so the idea would be to slow him down.
Well, obviously, if he's bouncing around, he's got a lot of energy, and what you want to do is give him a pharmaceutical that overwhelms his system, so he basically just kind of really reaches this flat line, this main line, and just kind of slows down and really is able to focus and sit still.
I mean, it's interesting because it seems like, I mean, he's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
It's
a problem.
How many pills do you give a kid at that age?
It depends. The more energy they have, the more pills you get them. So what you want to do is you really want to just make him stop.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll know you've reached the right dosage when he's just stopped moving and he just kind of sits there and looks at you.
Okay. So my wife seems to think that some of that stuff can actually be very cute. Like he'll eat a cheeseburger in, I'm not joking, in like a minute flat. He just sort of, she thinks some of that stuff's cute. His energy, she likes a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I disagree with her. And what I would want her to see is the joy of going to a restaurant and having the child sit in a seat and not consume food, which is expensive.
It is. Tell me about it.
And just so mommy and daddy can enjoy their dinner.
Okay. And what is the child typically on a pill diet like this? What are they doing in a restaurant situation during mealtime like that?
Ideally, you would give them iPads.
Okay.
And allow them to play games or Minecraft, watch a video, TV show. You don't need headphones. Just let them listen right there in the restaurant.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yes.
I worry that people might give me like dirty looks or something.
That's not a thing you need to worry about. And there's actually a pill for that.
There's a pill for the other people in the restaurant, or
no, a pill for your anxieties about social norms and things, and for you being concerned about other people. There are pills you can take that will make sure you kind of bypass those issues. I
would love that, because I feel a lot of that. I try to sort of make sure my kids are always well behaved. I'm always like have an eye on them.
Yeah. Now this is, you would have a different pill, and that would take care of those issues completely.
Huh. I'm worried about some of the side effects that I would get from a pill like that.
For that pill, the side effects usually are irritable bowel and clammy hands.
Okay.
But there's a pill for irritable bowel and one for clammy hands. So what we do is we'd give you a prescription for those to cover those symptoms.
Okay. And then, I mean, I'm almost afraid to ask, but those are such specific things. Would there be any side effects for the irritable bowel and the clammy hands medications?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, when you take the pill to stop your hands from being clammy, that's moisture in your body that wants to go somewhere else. So it comes out of your eyes.
Well, where else could it come from?
Makes it look like you're crying. Right? But you don't really care because you've taken a pill where you don't really care about what other people think.
Oh, yeah, that's helpful.
So the water is streaming down your face, but you can take a dry eyes pill.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. And what about, I mean, are there any side effects for the kid? I mean, the kids are sort of there. I mean, would you say almost in a comatose type of state?
I wouldn't say comatose. I think that's a little severe. I'd say coma-like. They're very slow to respond.
Mm-hmm.
They are very content because
sounds great.
Nothing really bothers them or really gets through to them. They will look at you. They'll recognize. They'll know they're in your company. They know mommy and daddy are there.
They still know who we are.
Yeah, they'll have a vague understanding that you are not there to hurt them.
Oh, good.
One of the downsides of the pill is the night screams.
Oh, night screams.
Yeah. So what we do in the case where we give a pill to slow the child down and they get the side effect of night screams is we'll give you a pill where you won't hear them in the night. You'll sleep very deeply. You won't hear the night screams.
Oh, sort of like Ambien, but like way stronger.
Yeah, it's a little stronger. So the night screams don't disturb you.
Okay. That's a really good way to, because I mean, I don't want to medicate the kids too much.
No,
I mean, I think
nobody
that
wants
makes
to.
Yeah. So I mean, just give them those 3 or 4 pills,
Yes.
let them have the night screams, and then just sort of tune that shit out.
Because they won't know the night screams. The night screams are not going to affect them because when they're sleeping, they're actually in a different state.
Right. They won't remember it.
Right.
They'll just wake up really tired, but they're not going to necessarily know that they were screaming all night.
They'll be a little fatigued, but we do have an energizer pill.
What's the Energizer pill?
It's a pill that energizes them.
Oh, no, I would guess that. But I mean, is it anything that I would recognize?
It's a different type of amphetamine from the one that burns out their system to slow them down. This one actually gives them energy to kind of motivate and get through the day.
Okay. So you like to give kids a lot of amphetamines like in the morning?
It depends on the child, but there's usually a schedule 1 or 2 or 3 times a day, oral or injected.
Okay. Oh, now a lot of parents probably are going to want to know what's normal. How many pills should I be giving my kids?
You don't want to go more than 15. That's usually our cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on each child. Every child is different. I know some kids are just 3 to 4 pill kids.
Oh,
I know other kids who are, 11, 12 pill kids.
Mm-hmm.
It really depends on the child. It depends on the circumstances. But, every child is different. They're like fingerprints.
So out of curiosity, where do you work? Do you work at a hospital? Do you work at some sort of big time fancy clinic? I mean, you're a childhood developmental expert. Where do you work?
Long story short, I'm in a Long John Silver's in Hudson, New York.
That's the fast food seafood chain.
Yes. They've partnered with Taco Bell. So technically it's a Taco Bell Long John Silver's.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah. There's a booth next to the restroom that is typically mine.
But you don't always get it.
No, but I get there fairly early in the morning and I'll park there for most of the day.
Okay.
That's where I do the majority of my consulting with parents.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I run my practice.
Huh. Is there a reason you don't work in a clinic, a hospital, doctor's office, something like that?
Yep.
Uh-huh. I mean, did you want to share that with us? The reason why?
It's a funny reason, but it just doesn't sound funny when you say it.
Okay. Well, give it a chance. Give it a chance.
Okay.
I believe in you.
Well, there was a little girl who loved to dance.
Okay. It sounds like this is going to be funny.
She loved dancing so much.
Mm-hmm.
And her mother came to me.
Yep.
And said, my daughter loves to dance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gave her a pill that I thought would help her with dancing because I believed it would help her motor coordination.
Uh-huh.
And it did.
Oh, good.
She was an amazing dancer.
Mm-hmm.
But the pill itself hadn't been tested on humans. And it turned out that a lot of her dancing was not so much dancing as her having a seizure.
Yeah, more in the seizure world.
Yeah. People thought initially that she was a phenomenal break dancer. But it turns out she was actually just having a terrible reaction to the...
How many years did she go on like this until they figured out what it was?
I wouldn't say years.
Okay.
It was 23 minutes.
So it was a 23-minute dance routine.
Yeah.
That was really a seizure.
Yes.
I don't know. It seems like a pretty funny story to me.
At her funeral, I tried to retell the story, and I called her Dancing Betty. And it didn't go over as well as I had thought. And that's when I thought it was time for me to leave the hospital.
Well, so you decided to leave the hospital, or did the hospital kick you out?
It was a mutual agreement.
A parting of the ways?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's great. So we can find you in the Long John Silver's in Hudson, New York.
Yeah.
Long
John Silver's
/ Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you recommend on the menu there?
I've never eaten there, quite honestly. I don't like to put weird things in my body.
Well, thanks again so much for being here, Dr. And I can still call you Dr. Fullwood?
Yeah, I'm still a doctor. Still have my doctorate in musical theory.
And that's all the time we have for today's podcast. I wish Brian was here for that. He's got these kids that he's really into, and he could have learned a lot from that. So, but I know Brian would want to thank you for listening.
That was questionable material. Subscribe to this podcast. Visit us at qmpodcast.com. Email us at contact@qmpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at questionablematt.